is it fair to say that you made a lot of people very rich?
Yeah. What I invented works amazingly well. Everything else is getting fucked up all around us while we're perfectly functioning. Perfectly.
So why are people... This is a bit odd.
Because they're goddamn idiots. They're poor, stupid, wrecked plebs. Period. They're fucking retards.
What was the question I was going to ask?
Why does everyone hate hacks? Why do people talk shit about it? Yeah.
Why are they so angry about it?
Because they suck dicks in their free time. They literally find a bag of dicks and suck each one. They're the worst, stupidest, shittiest fucking people possible. What is one thing that can go bad on HEX? Well, you could not buy it, and then the price could go up another 1000x, and then that could make you really sad. So that would be bad, wouldn't it? Don't want to hurt your feelings or anything.
Drop it. Yeah.
Fucking hook back.
Okay, welcome back. Let's talk about HEX. In this video, I will talk about the price, everything going on in general in the crypto space. I'll talk about Bitcoin's price and Ethereum. Is it a bull trap? I'll talk about PulseChain, new developments, exciting stuff, especially with what Richard's doing with PulseChain and the price action with HEX. I mean, I think things are going to get interesting real soon. Okay, so $10 HEX. That's what I said in my last video. By year end, this year, by the end of 2021, I'm thinking $10 per HEX. We'll test it or at least get near it. It's a bit, crazy, or is it? I'll talk about why it's not. My end of 2022 prediction is $30 to $100. So I'm giving myself a lot of wiggle room because, I mean, we're talking a lot per HEX at that point. And a few things need to happen, and I do not know if those things are going to happen. So it is dependent on a few things. I do think they will eventually happen. I'm just hoping they'll happen sooner rather than later. And that is really all up to everyone within the community, I believe. So let's recap from my last video, which was what, a week and a half ago, something like that, or 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure. Go look on my YouTube channel. My last video didn't get a lot of views. Really weird. I think it was messed with, the view count and everything. So the price of HEX right now is 18 cents. If you would have bought the dip in my last video and I told you to, you'd be up like 70 to 80%. 70 to 80%, that's a lot. For some, they're thinking, well, that's not that much in crypto. That's not the point. The point is you could have had 70 to 80% more HEX, because the difference will be in the future, let's say. So if HEX does go to $10, if you had 70 to 80% more HEX, then that unit account for how much you accumulated early on, which is still now, is the difference between, I don't know, $500,000 worth or maybe $1.5 million worth. Because it's all about accumulating units when they're really cheap. It's not so much about the percentage gains in the beginning. Okay? Especially when you're talking about a blockchain certificate of deposit, which yields you on average like 35%, something like that. But it's really like, it bounces around, does move around from day to day depending on what's happening. But a lot of the days it is 40%. Some of the days it's like 30%. It doesn't matter. There's nothing else that even comes close, or ever really, I believe, has ever come close. And I'll talk about how that's even possible and this and that. So this will be a video for beginners and for OGs. but I'm going to be bouncing around, like in and out for beginners and for OGs. All right. So let's start. So how could it get to $10 by year's end? Well, we just had PulseChain launch, right? PulseChain, okay, is a fork of Ethereum, and it's basically copying the entire Ethereum network and the entire system state, meaning all of the other projects upon it, right? Now, the sacrifice phase is over with. It ran for 19 days, although if you missed out on it, you could still get it, apparently. I just found out yesterday, Richard streamed. It's just that you're gonna get a lot less, because it ratchets up 5% every day thereafter the cutoff date, which was like weeks ago. But you can still get it. It's still better than probably waiting for the day of the launch, because, I mean, the price could just moon the day of the launch, because a lot of people are going to be interested in it, and a lot of projects might be getting on board. Smart people are going out there and contacting projects and telling them about PulseChain, educating them on it, and getting them on board. And then that's how you know that their copy will be working on the PulseChain network, and then you could possibly go and buy those coins cheap and make, I don't know, like massive life-changing wealth gains. That's just another game you could play. An opportunity, one of many. There's so many, but that's for private members, for the private group, the people who've been buying since day one, who've already enjoyed life-changing wealth. All right, so where was I? Okay, so a lot of people in the HEX community decided to sacrifice their HEX to acquire these PLS tokens. There's no promises that we're going to get them, but we're taking a gamble as a political statement, right? That we want lower gas fees because Ethereum is all clogged up. Again, the miners have a lot of way and sway within Ethereum, and maybe eventually they'll go to proof of stake, but who knows? Maybe they won't. I don't know. But they've been promising that for like 4 years now, and we've seen nothing. Meanwhile, the entire Ethereum network is just filling up and nothing could run on it. The fees are insane. It's destroying a lot of projects, and people are essentially losing a lot of money just trying to transact on the Ethereum network. By the way, this is real crypto. If you've never gone off of exchanges, you've never even had crypto, because you didn't have keys. It wasn't even crypto. So if you've never actually interacted with the blockchain, and it's really not hard or complicated, then you've never actually even done crypto. It's for you noobs, so you know. Anyways, there's a whole crypto ecosystem that is real, and people interact peer-to-peer on the blockchain and use DEX exchanges, this and that, all right? And that's the way of the future. If you haven't noticed, everything that's centralized gets hacked, or they lose your money, or they do illegal things, and then they go after them, and then you lose everything. And this has happened over and over and over and over again, especially in bear markets. That's when the water recedes, and then you see who's swimming without swimming trunks, and it's usually like almost everyone. And I've been through it. A lot of us have. All right. And that's when you lose all your... That's when everyone gets rug pulled. And it happens. We've been seeing it for months now. Now, it looks like we're going back into a bull market for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'll do the Bitcoin and Ethereum chart when I'm done talking about HEX and Pulse. Or maybe I'll throw it in the middle so you guys actually listen. Pay attention. People who paid attention to me are millionaires now. People who don't and don't take me seriously, I don't know. You chose your life. It is what it is. So, people, the community, decided to give up their HEX tokens to hopefully maybe get dropped PLS, that's the ticker symbol, for PulseChain, right? Which is a fork of Ethereum, which is Ethereum 2.0. Richard has front ran Ethereum 2.0, right? It's, did I talk about this chart? I don't know. Hold on. So, it's Ethereum 2.0, right? He's front running it. Years, possibly. And it's going to help Ethereum. It takes the load off of Ethereum. So, how many HEX was sacrificed? I'm not exactly sure, but the last figures I saw was 7 billion HEX from people within the community, HEX holders. 7 billion. Before, some benevolent entity came in and sacrificed, like, I forgot how much, like even more HEX, like 70, or no, it was like 120 million, no, 120 billion HEX, something insane. You'd have to go to etherscan.io and see on the HEX contract or I'll show you some links where you can see it. So 7 billion. 7 billion doesn't sound like a lot because when you look at HEX on CoinMarketCap, which they threw it on page 3, and it's forever there because they're a bunch of scammers. But if you go to Nomics, HEX is properly put on the front page where it belongs. 7 billion out of, what is the total supply? I believe it is, give me a second. Did I not write it down? It's 600 and some billion, which sounds insane, right? But after the OA lobby, the OA has accumulated 96% of the total supply for the contract, so it could function, so it could be a perpetual yield generating smart contract, right? It has 96% of the supply. Then there's another 10% which is staked. Whatever is staked, and I'm going to show you guys the interface, whatever is staked, well, that doesn't usually come onto the market, to the liquid market, because there's penalties for unstaking, right? If you emergency unstake very early, you pretty much nuke your entire principal balance and all of your interest for sure. So that can't come out onto the market. The liquid HEX, which is in people's wallets, that can be sold at any given time, okay, if you're paying attention. After this sacrifice for PulseChain, we're looking at around 13 billion, and probably less, because there's a few big whales who have a lot of liquid HEX, but they're not going to be selling, because they're securing the network, and they're fine. They have plenty of money. And they're also very big in PulseChain, so we're here to win it, all right? We're here for pure dominance and takeover of not just crypto, but we'll be going into legacy eventually. So we're looking at probably less than 10 billion easy. And I heard Gunther, the accountant, talk about, he does great work. He does chain analysis in and out. He's got some software. I've got my guy who's running a node and everything. Like, I'm thinking it's somewhere probably around 7 billion. I'm not sure. And that's today, right? This also changes with time. So we're only looking at 7 billion, possibly 8 billion, somewhere around there, give or take a couple billion, honestly, that could at any given time be sold. Now, right now, there's no incentive to sell. Unless you have like a serious medical emergency and you need the money. Like, you would be very dumb, in my opinion, to sell right now, because PulseChain mainnet could come online in a few weeks. Could come online in 4 weeks, two months from now. Nobody really knows. There's a couple news announcements coming out. The testnet, that's going to pump the price. And once people start running the testnet and seeing what PulseChain really is, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of FOMO. I have a feeling a lot more projects are going to come on board within the crypto space. I also believe things that Richard hasn't told us about it will be more evident and clear, more pumpamentals for Pulse, which, the way I see it, he's built a better Bitcoin. Well, now he's built, possibly, not him, but the team. There's a bunch of devs. It's a community effort. It really is, by the way. Because everyone's been chipping in and giving feedback, and a lot of people in the community just chipping in and, working as devs, this and that. So it's like a lot of great minds came together, right? And game theorized this. Will it be better? It's being built from the start, and Ethereum has gone through all of the trenches, right? And he's pretty much taken everything that works in crypto and is being incorporated into PulseChain. So everything that's been tested for years now, and if it works great, it's being incorporated. So from the start, it'll also launch 100% complete, ready to go. Smart contracts will be running on it. Cardano doesn't even have any yet. So, and I see mainstream media talking about Cardano. It's funny. It's going to be funny when HEX and PulseChain come out of nowhere and just dominate the entire space. That's what I'm betting on. Big time. All right. So, yeah, there's all of that, right? So, PulseChain on itself is going to have a copy of HEX from the Ethereum network because HEX runs on Ethereum, right? So if you buy HEX now, you're going to get your Ethereum HEX, and then you're going to get HEX on the PulseChain network. What does that mean? That means you get two. So if you buy HEX now, you're going to have two. So why would you sell? Also, around 7 billion liquid HEX came off the market. It's extremely illiquid. And we'll look at the liquidity and this and that in a minute. So, I mean, I don't understand why anyone would be selling right now. It blows my mind. Also, if you're a whale, or even if you're selling hundreds of thousands of HEX, or just set limit orders and scale out of your position. Like if you want to sell, let's say 500,000 HEX, maybe do it in tranches. Like today, I'll do 100,000, sell limit order. And, you don't want to put a big order up there to scare everyone. That's what spoofing really is to scare everyone with big sell or buy orders. You scale out of your position. This way you don't hurt the price and you don't hurt your bags, your other staked HEX, right? There's no point and no reasoning for you to market order, and it doesn't even matter anymore because every time a large amount is sold, within hours it's bought up. Yesterday there was millions dumped by a huge whale, and the price was back up within 4 hours or 8 hours. No big deal. And now we're looks like the price is about to test all-time highs today and tomorrow. So, yeah. Also, if you're an early adopter, day one OG, like myself, I was, unfortunately, day one, think long term, but not just that. You don't have to sell a lot right now to get a lot of, think about it this way. If you just wait for $5 HEX, will you have to sell a lot in the future for a lot of money? No. All you have to do is just wait a little bit longer. Another 6 months. Come on. Another 4 months. Or end of this year. $10. That's pretty ambitious, but just wait till the end of this year, I guess. Hopefully I'm right. But I'll tell you guys, I'm also going to tell you guys why I think that's going to happen. So, yeah. Here's another metric I'm sort of looking at, right? So before I look at this real quick, if you're new, go to the App Store and download Staker app. It's called Staker app. You can go to hex.com and click on the links section. You're going to see all the links. I'm going to show you in a second. I don't even remember if I covered this chart because I started 2 videos prior to this and I was messing up because I'm a little rusty because I haven't been YouTubing as much lately because you guys aren't sharing my videos, and I'm good. I'm set for life. For you, you guys need to share my videos if you guys want me to keep making content because it's the only way this grows. This is Bitcoin, the white line in the background. The pink line is HEX. And this is a comparison, side-to-side comparison from the day Bitcoin started and the day HEX started. It's a little bit after. Should you count the first few months But it starts from May 22 because there's absolutely no liquidity. People are just mining Bitcoin the first like 6 months or whatever. When there was a market for it where you could start trading it, that's when it counts, really. Same with HEX. So, comparison, Bitcoin, May 22nd, 2010 to August 22nd, 2021, current. Same with HEX, right? So, looking very, very good, right? I mean, it's for the part. Now, HEX actually, I do not believe this chart includes the interest you accrue from staking your HEX. So technically, your gains are much higher, right? So if you're looking at 30 to 40% APY every year, this would be not 50% higher, but higher. So technically, not technically, it really has outperformed Bitcoin. The first 2 years of Bitcoin has been outperformed by almost the first 2 years of HEX. And we're not even at 2 years in HEX. In a couple months, in like 3 months, we will. This chart is provided by hexgraphs.com, another place you could go and check these. They have great charts. I'm going to show you. All right, so here's another thing I want to talk about, why I believe HEX could go possibly to $10. Like, listen, I'm happy if we get to $1, but I think we should get to $1 before the mainnet launches on PulseChain, right? Before the PulseChain mainnet launches, we should easily get to $1. Should be at $1 right now. It's just that there's some early adopters who I believe have unit bias and they do not understand how rich they could be. And like I said, in my last video I said people do self-sabotage because people don't believe they deserve to be multi-millionaires and billionaires. And most people don't. Let's be honest. But you can be if you just have a little more patience. But this is fine. I mean, we don't want impatient people holding on longer. We'd rather, I guess you always want them out earlier rather than later. Because I don't need, like, that idiot who dumped yesterday, I don't need him dumping when it's like at $5, right? Because it actually does a little more damage. But let me show you something I've got here. So I've done some paper napkin math and guesstimating. This is guesstimating. But this is according to me, right? And I showed the private group how I estimated this. I don't want to give it all away, and this changes. I come back to this and I look at it every month. And you get to view stuff like this on the Staker app, right? Oh, another pro tip, or whatever you guys want to call it. If you're new and you just started getting into HEX, this and that, okay, download the Staker app and you could hook up your wallet address so you could see the interest running and accruing. And it's really fascinating. It's really cool. But if you're like day one and you've got some big bags, I don't have it hooked up because I don't want to see it. Because if you're seeing it every day, you're like, damn, that's a lot. And then what do? You start going window shopping on the internet, And before you know it, you're looking at all sorts of stuff you just really want. and then once you spend a big chunk, you can't stop. It's like and that's how people who just got rich lose it quickly, by the way. Like once you start spending, then you can't stop. You just keep spending and it's like a sugar high that just doesn't end until you start running out of money. And then you have to pay, taxes on your gains, and then you got to sell even more, and then maybe you end up emergency end staking. You just don't want to fall into that trap. Even though that I just said that, a lot of people will. Anyways, and another, oh God, I just forgot about something that was really cool. Oh yeah, the title of my video. I'm going to talk about how you could invest that small amount of not invest, but like buy HEX with that small amount of money. And then we'll play a game. At what price of HEX and how much time in interest accrued. I'm going to show you how it all works too. It's really cool. will it take for you to make a milli, 1 million? But for now, let's talk about this real quick. So another reason why I think the prices should be at $1 now, and eventually it'll go to $10. Dolphins. How many dolphins do you think there are? Well, it says 900, right? Okay. Now, I'm not even going to count super sharks and then whales, because those are more than likely the OA are people who don't really sell ever or much because they don't need to, right? Their standard of living changes nothing, right? But the dolphins and the squids, these are what I'm really looking at. These are your whales right now. By the way, in the future, your whales will include the turtles and then the crabs as well, right? At $10 hex, like, you're pretty much a turtle's a millionaire as well, and so is the crab. Or I don't know about a crab, maybe high end. I don't know. I forgot about how much crabs are. Well, squids are 16,000 hex to be a crab. That's the minimum to be a crab. 16,000 hex. How much dollars is that? It's not much at all. You could easily get that right now. So how many dolphins do you guys think there are? Well, I'm assuming these people have at least 5 wallets. And I know if you break up one dolphin, a lot of them end up becoming squids as well. And then the same goes with squids. If they have 5 wallets, they're counted as turtles. And I understand that. But let's say dolphins, I divided by, let's just do 6 for dolphins. They have 6 wallets and 5 wallets for squids, right? I have like 12, but I'm crazy, okay? So if you divide 900, right, we're looking at around 180 dolphins. And then we're looking at about 982 squids. So we're looking at around 1,100, 1,200, maybe 1,300 at the most up in this whale class. That's people. That's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of heads. And I'm assuming they all have multiple wallets, because you'd be kind of crazy to have all your eggs in one basket in one wallet, because you never know what could happen if you get hacked or this or that, right? And I guarantee you, most people, if you average it out, it's probably coming down to 5, minimum 4 wallets. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's 6 as well. So let's say 6 for dolphins, because the dolphins are smart. They've been in this game for a while because they had money in the first place to become really big whales. And then squids were very early adopters. They didn't really need much money, but now it's a lot, right? They accumulate a lot of hex with a little bit of money. So they probably have a lot of them probably only have like 4 wallets. But some of the squids were probably really smart and have 5 or 6 as well. All right. So the turtles, I assume, actually only have 1 wallet, or maybe 2, okay? And the crabs probably only have 1 wallet. I have many wallets. I suggest you spread it out on many wallets. You don't, just in case, right? You never know. OPSEC, security. So I also look at the Telegram groups. I look at Richard's YouTube channel, right? He's been averaging, if you average out his views, it's coming out to around 45,000. And if you look at all kinds of metrics, staking ladder. Well, I look at a lot of things, right? You look at the Staker app. You look at, you could go to HEX.vision. You could pretty much get a good feel of how many people are actually within HEX and hold HEX. I'm guessing around 45,000 to maybe 60 that are real active people, right? That's not much. But when we hit 100,000, I think that's when the virality will really start picking up. And how fast could we get to 100,000? I think we could do it in the next few weeks. Okay? And if everyone, does their part, everyone's got to onboard, man. Like, you just got... You don't have to, but if everyone just did it for, like, a couple weeks, well, we would compound. We would multiply very, very quickly. We could easily go to $1 and then, like, 3. Like, before the mainnet launch of PulseChain. Before that. Okay, so that's what I believe. If everyone just went out and like literally just onboarded 2 people right now, like that's It's really all it takes. But let's say we get to 100,000, right? That's when I think the 100th monkey effect will start picking up. So when you've got 100,000 people, let's just say within a month, those 100,000 people just onboard one more person. Okay, that's 200,000. Okay, let's say within a year, and then you get 200,000, right? And then 2 months later or 3 months later, that 200,000 onboards one more person. Now we're looking at 400,000. 400,000 onboards just one more person, like let's say 6 to 8 months later. That's 800,000. And that's our first wave of virality and network effect. At that point, everyone in crypto's jumping in and FOMO buying. And that's how quick it happens. First, it starts off slow, just like every chart, right? Just like every single chart. This is Bitcoin. Let's bring up HEX chart. So it starts off slow, and then it accelerates, and accelerates, right? That's a hyperwave, hyperbolic wave up. What happened to hyperbolic Trev, that guy. Anyways, of course there will be corrections on the way up, right? But starts off slow, right? The accumulation phase, and then just takes off like a rocket, right? And this looks crazy. And normally people are like, well, look, it's gone parabolic already. Listen, man, so did Bitcoin for like the first 5 years. It just kept going up. Bitcoin did 600 million X. X is 100%. It's a doubling, okay? Hex has only done what? Like 400,000, something like that. Something crazy like that. But it's nothing compared to Bitcoin. So we have a lot more X's to go. Like many X's. All right. So we're almost at 20 cents. We did hit 20 cents. How many X's to $2? How many doublings to $2 do we really need? Not many. Like a handful of doublings. We only need 100X. Or no, we only need a 10X to get to $2. From $2, how many X's do we need to get to $20? Just another 10X. Or how about just a 5X? That's $10. How many X's did Bitcoin do? Like 6 million. If HEX only does half of that, how high do you think the HEX price will go? Way higher than anyone could imagine. How is that even possible? The liquid supply of HEX only diminishes versus time because demand outstrips the liquid supply that is available for sale, because the only way you could get HEX is if you buy it off of someone else. The only other way you could get more HEX is if you stake your HEX, which forces you to lock it up, which takes liquid supply off the market. It's brilliant, and sometimes it's just that simple. So let me give you guys an example on the interface, right? But before we do that, let's look at hex.com, where all of your concerns and questions and everything you need is literally there, but people are too lazy to click a couple times or just put in hex.com and then go to pages, go to links, and that's where you get all the good stuff. It's like everything you've ever asked or wanted to know, it's all there. It's literally on the page. By the way, if Richard disappears and this website disappears, someone else will make a new one. It has nothing to do with the contract or the blockchain. All right. Look, all the links are here. All right, guys. There's a lot of cool stuff. Amazing stuff. Here's apphex.win charts. The most transparent crypto ever made. You don't get information like this. In the hex.vision, there's so much you could look up. Gas price, stake, all kinds of stuff, right? Firebun really built this out. Like, this is hardcore, legit, like Bloomberg terminal type stuff. Anyways, so let's talk about these websites, because these are important and it helps you understand and visualize everything. All right, so here we have 113 billion hex was sacrificed by a benevolent entity, right, which secures the network for hex and secured the network for PulseChain. I mean, you should have expected that. so the network can't be ever attacked or anything, right? Now, what's going to happen with all this HEX that was sacrificed? I don't know, but I highly doubt it's ever going to end up on the market unless it's for maybe starting some sort of grayscale, or maybe for grayscale, maybe an ETF, OTC, maybe for futures in the future, like futures market, for the legacy system for Wall Street, right? They're going to need a pool to make that possible, because it can't just be, because HEX is going to become extremely illiquid. What I'm saying is there's not going to be a lot of HEX liquid on the market to buy, not enough for institutions, right? This and that. So if you wanted to make a financial vehicle for the legacy system, something like Grayscale or whatever, you need a nice pool of HEX, and then you create a derivative of it or whatever. Yeah, so that's extremely bullish, looking a couple years ahead, or maybe just a year, I don't know, maybe a few months. There's other things too as well, right? Richard has said he applied for an exchange, fiat on-ramping, right? Big deal to really boost that network effect for Pulse and HEX. What else? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I actually made a little list here, but let's take a look at what else do we have here data-wise. Circulating is 459 billion. Not really, though, because that is basically the smart contract, the perpetual running smart contract forever. I consider that the contract. That high APY comes from somewhere, right? The price appreciation comes from people buying, because this is the only financial, or not financial, this is the only asset. It's an asset because it was launched 100% complete, no keys. No one could mess with it. It just runs on its own. The only way you could take it down is if you cut off the entire internet, all right? It's literally just like Bitcoin. The only difference is, well, it's a smart contract and it creates yield and interest. And instead of paying the miners to pollute the environment, you're paying the staking class who stake their coins. Annual inflation, 3.69. That's somewhere similar to gold's, by the way. The amount of gold that comes into existence year after year is somewhere around 3%. That they extract more out of the ground of total supply. All right, so the liquidity pools on the exchanges, the DEX exchanges, decentralized exchanges, because this is real crypto, not fake crypto. Everything else is pretty much fake. They're on exchanges. They all have keys. None of them are complete. They could all pretty much rug, and there you go. V2 has 12 million. V3 has 24. And 46 million on V2 in USDC and Tether. Or not Tether. JP Morgan Tether. The USDC Tether stable coin, right? That's why the HEX price it's not correlated with Bitcoin and Ethereum and this and that. I mean, it is a little bit, probably 15%, something like that. That'll change once PulseChain launches and HEX will be on Pulse. It'll also be on Ethereum, but you're going to have two hexes. So the other one, it would be even more decorrelated. And as time goes on, both hexes will be more and more and more decorrelated, especially if we get fiat on-ramps, right? But the main reason is this, what is it called? It's called elasticity, something like that. It's called Hart's Law, because Richard popularized it. Basically, whenever you have a trading pair, the dominant trading pair kind of sets a peg to one another, and then so that's why when Bitcoin falls and crashes, everything in crypto crashes, except for HEX, because the dominant trading pair is not Ethereum. It is not Bitcoin. So it'd be really nice if everyone stopped providing liquidity, right, for Ethereum to HEX. because that would really decorrelate us, especially once the bear market really takes hold for Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? If it does, I'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum in a second. Another thing with liquidity providing, PulseChain is going to have that. Uniswap, a lot of things are going to get. I'll talk more about Pulse later. Pulse is exciting. Like PulseChain, I think it's going to do just as good as HEX did in the beginning, right? The first year and a half or whatever. Current APY today is 37.5%. That's pretty high. Staked is $11 billion worth. Staked plus pools is 11. So that's including liquidity providing is $11.2 billion worth. All right, so here's what's really important so you guys understand for the noobs. So this is the price. The white here and then the shade, that's the price of HEX. The orange line is the T-share rate. The T-share rate is determined, it's a formula, right? So if you go to hex.com and then you go to tech specs and you scroll all the way down and you look at the economics audit and you have Brainiac Galaxy Brain check this out for you. I had one do that for me. And if it checks out, it checks out. It works, right? This is why Richard will get a Nobel Prize, or he should at least. Because this is new. This is invented. This has never been seen before in the world. When something is new, people don't understand it. And then they scream, scam, scam, scam. Because they're midwits, right? Richard said they're midwits. People who are smart, but they're not really that smart, but they're just smart enough to be to cause damage. Everyone called Bitcoin a scam too. Everyone calls everything a scam that's new, that they don't understand, and they don't do their homework and do all the research, right? So the people who are going to get rich, it's really funny, are the dummies who are like, ooh, number go up, I FOMO. And then like the dummies who just listen to YouTubers, like the HEX YouTubers, and they just like the number going up, and they like Richard, they think he's funny. So the dummies are going to get rich, super rich, and a lot of them already have. Really rich. A lot of them already had. And then the super smart people. But the midwits, the people who think they're smart, but they're just average, they can't understand it because they won't put in the work and the effort, and they don't. These types of people don't like updating the worldview and changing with the times, so they always miss out on the opportunities, and they always end up buying at like all-time highs when it's, so it takes a particular type of person. You're either really lucky or really smart to be really early. Okay? You could go to hexladder.web.app where you could play with this and create a staking ladder. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about the staking ladder. I just don't feel like giving you guys strategies on that yet because I don't want to make a 3-hour long video. So, what are T-shares? How do they work? What just happened? So, one T-share right now equals about, where does it say? It equals about, it's this bottom chart right here, about 5.77. So one T-share per day, this is every day, every 24 hours, one T-share gets you about 6 HEX. Let's round it up. Because every day someone emergency unstakes almost. And then you get a bonus. So when someone nukes their own... Okay, so when you lock up your HEX, let's say you want to do it for 1 year, but for some reason the price went up a lot and you just can't handle it anymore, and you want your money back now so you could sell now because you want to go buy a house or a car or an RV or a boat or something. Okay, so after the 50% time has accrued, then I believe your principal, you lose all of your interest, but you keep your principal. Or is it 70%? I already forgot. See, here's the thing. I never plan on emergency unstaking, ever. Okay? But if you do look it up, or I'll talk about it in my next video. But when these people do, let's say early emergency end stake, so let's say they only did 25% of the time or whatever, their interest that they were going to accrue and their principal that they lose gets distributed to the rest of the staker class evenly. And then 50% of that also goes back into the contract because it's part of the mechanism for this whole thing to work, okay? So you could get that high APY. Now, here's the thing. The T-share rate only goes up. You will never, ever be able to get back the amount of T-shares you had in the beginning. I mean, eventually it'll get to that. You can still do it now, but I believe like after a year or something, or a couple, it depends on how high the price goes and how many people end their stakes. But every time someone ends their stake, the T-share rate goes up. It ratchets up and up and up. This T-share rate is only going to go up versus time because people's stakes come due with time. That's a fact. Okay. So when is the best time to, and how do you get these T-shares? T-shares represent how much HEX you have staked. And T represents 1 trillion. I don't want to get into the math and confuse you. You could read the white paper, this and that, and look at all the economic audits and look at all the audits. There's 3. But you want to stake as much as possible as soon as possible to get as much T-shares as possible, because the T-shares is what could give you the most amount of power to get interest. That's what helps you accumulate the interest, right? So this T-share rate's only going to go up. Now, a good way to see when the T-share rate is going to start spiking or the price of a T-share spikes. So right now, a T-share costs, does it tell me here? This is the rate, though. The rate really is going to jump in, where's the year? Oh, this is for this year. Never mind. You know what? Let me zoom out. Oh, it doesn't fill it in. I guess I can't determine that. Anyways, the price of a T-share right now, it's like stuck. No, that can't be right. Is that right? It's 3,339. That's a lot. Is that right? Well, it was 2,000 bucks like a few weeks ago. It's really going up then. If it's $3,400. So to be able to get one T-share, it'll cost you that much. I really don't believe it's that much. We're going to look at the interface real quick, and you're going to see this all working in action. It's going to blow your mind. Anyways, so you want to acquire T-shares as soon as possible, as soon as humanly possible. Now, the beauty about how this all works is, so let's say 3 years from now, 5 years from now, when Wall Street and institutions want to get in on this, they finally find out about it. Can they still earn the same APY, the 37% a year APY? Yes. It's just going to cost them a lot more HEX. They're going to have to buy, who knows, 100x more HEX. Say that 3 times. They have to buy a lot more HEX to acquire as many T-shares as you have right now that you're acquiring right now, dirt cheap. Do you understand? And that's what guarantees the price to also go to the moon. Okay? And what else did I want to say? I just forgot. It was actually really important. I forgot. Anyways, hopefully it'll come back to me. So you want to acquire all your T-shares now, especially before the mainnet of PulseChain goes live, because there's no guarantees you're going to be able to get HEX on the PulseChain network any cheaper than at the whatever the price is today and the day that the mainnet goes live. The price might just pump out of like nowhere because everyone's gonna FOMO buy, and there's I don't know how much liquidity there'll be, you know, and who's gonna be selling their PHEX or their, let's just call it HEX on the Pulse chain. Who's gonna be selling it? I don't think a lot of people. Not until the price is much, much higher. I think you could easily do a couple X's just like day one or the first week, right? So, and not just that, then when Pulse goes live, it's going to suck in all, like, who knows how much capital out of the entire crypto space. And again, I hinted towards this. It'd be really cool if we provided liquidity for stable coins on the Pulse network. Because, don't forget, we just had a huge event where a lot of stable was collected for the Pulse launch. Remember? I forgot to look at it. How much is it? It's like tens of billions. How much was collected? I don't know. I have to look it up. I'll talk about that in my next video. Anyways, so let me show you this before we go to the interface for you noobs. And maybe some people who've bought HEX, but they haven't really staked. Give it a second to load. All right. So naturally, there's a lot of stakes coming due right around now. Yet the price is still going up and up and up because there's less liquid on the market. And there's no incentive for any of these people to sell. They're liquid, right? That just became liquid after their stakes came due. So these higher orange bars represent the amount of stakes coming due. So when a stake comes due, your HEX comes back to you, back into your wallet. You have to click the function and pay the gas fee, and then your HEX goes back into your wallet, and then you could do whatever you want with it. You could restake it, you could sell some of it, you could sell all of it, you could sell half of it, you could restake all of it. It's all determined by you. And maybe that's dependent on where the price is, right? Or whatever you need in life or whatnot, right? So if you're smart, wouldn't you want to maybe place stakes where there's not a lot of stakes coming due, because there'd be more liquid stakes on the market, and that's potential liability for these people to sell during that time, and that may mean that the price might not go up as much or go as high as versus the times when there's a lot less stakes coming due. So naturally, you would want to look at places on this chart where there aren't a lot of stakes coming due and fill in these gaps and place stakes there. And you could create a ladder, right? Like one, let's say, around here in 2023, one here, 2024, one here, 2025, one here in 2026. Now, I suggest you want every year something coming out. Because if you don't, and the price keeps going higher and higher, you're going to get real tempted to emergency end stake a stake that comes due, let's say, next year, right? So you want something coming out every year so you don't emergency end stake, right? When the price is mooning and you're just looking at your stakes and you're like, oh my God, I really need this money now. So, but if you have something coming out every year, you could hold. I mean, maybe you could do it every 6 months, give yourself you know yourself better, right? I personally, I have high delayed gratification. I mean, shit, I come from investing in stocks and gold and gold stocks, mining stocks, right? That's where I come from. Trust me, I have patience. If anyone does, it's those guys, right? Which I think are easily onboarded to HEX. How do I know that? Because I onboarded over 100 of them. And a lot of crypto people too, because I used to have a crypto channel. This channel used to be only crypto 3 years back or 4 years back, right? So, yeah. Now listen, when you're and by the way, the further out, the more interest you could accrue. So longer pays better, and so does bigger pay better. And then there's some pretty neat strategies I have that I could help you with. You gotta sign up though. Go to my website, pay that upfront fee, then it's $20 a month. And it pays for itself. Paid for everyone who's in my group right now, right? A lot of people became very, very wealthy. Like they're retired. But listen, if anything past this point right here, which is 2030, you get a bonus, like a 200% bonus, okay? Or technically it's 300%, but I'll show you guys in a second. All right, I'll show you the interface. It's really, really neat. All right. Here's nomics.com. I was going to show this. Now, here's another huge pumpamental that a lot of people, the other Hex streamers, don't really talk about that much, which you can find them all at hexstreamers.com. Okay. I'm not on there. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll pop in if they invite me. I'm going to wait for an invite. I'm not going to, I really, I just do everything on my own. I'm used to it. But if they invite me, I'll go on. So Hex is number 3, and everyone who's a hater because they're salty because they missed out on a life-changing opportunity, they say, there's no way Hex could be number 3. Look at the volume that's being traded. Look at the circulating supply. And that's why they call it a scam. And I guess if you don't know anything about it and you see that, you're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. That would pique my interest. Why so? And so would the fact that Richard's pretty smart, and then I would look into it or research it, and then I'd be like, oh shit, I'm an idiot. But I was watching Richard before he even launched Hex. So, when Richard really got my attention, it was when he started talking about fractional reserve lending and how the banks really work. Now, I knew this for many, many years because I've been listening to Schiff and a lot of people since like 2007. But so I knew everything he was saying was true, and I also was impressed because this was the first crypto guy who actually knew what the hell he was talking about. But he did talk about something that I never actually thought about, or I've never heard anyone else say this ever, but it makes sense. When the price of something is the most concentrated, when the smallest amount of people hold most of the supply, that is actually when the price goes up the most and the highest. And it's crazy. And it's true. It's the same with every stock. It was the same with Bitcoin. It's the same with everything. Richard says it all the time. When Bezos had like most of the stock shares, that's when the price did the best price performance, right? Like, why is that so hard to understand? Why is that? Because he's not going to nuke his own price. Why would he? What is he going to do? Dump? No, he's going to slowly trickle his shares. He's going to sell them off slowly so he doesn't hurt the price, and then everyone could get their shares, their percentage, they're part of the pie. And in the meantime, the price goes up as this happens. And that's all it is, guys. That's all it is. Another thing he said was inflation is actually good, which I did know, but the way he worded it made me think about it differently, and it makes sense. Well, as the Fed prints more, does the market crash, or does it just only go up forever? It only goes up forever because the inflation has to go somewhere. It goes first into people's pockets, and then it goes to corporations and institutions and banks, and then it goes into the stock market, and then these assholes go and buy 5 homes and then push up the price of homes, and then you guys know. So yeah, but the funny thing is Hex's inflation is less than Bitcoin's, so technically it's better in every way possible, and Bitcoin does not pay yield. Bitcoin pays miners to dump the price. All right. Now, the volume, right, and the circulating supply and the market cap. I've already talked about this. If I have 10 rocks, I sell 1 rock for $1 million. My market cap is 10 million for my 10 rocks. That's all it is. It's a vanity measure. Can you sell your 10 rocks for 10 million in that moment in time and space? No. Will everyone sell all? Like Richard says this all the time on his streams. Like, you guys understand. Is everyone going to go sell all their cars at once? Is everyone going to go sell all their homes at once? No. Can a mortgage-backed securities derivatives market and credit ninja loans dump the housing market like it did in 2007, 2008, and 2009? Yes. But normally and usually that doesn't happen. What I'm trying to say is, do you think the only way the price is ever going to crash in Hex, literally, is if the 1,000 to 1,300 people all decide to sell at once, an emergency end stake and nuke their stakes. Is that going to happen? I highly doubt it. Like, highly doubt it. If anything, if the price is going down, if anything, these same people will buy. There's people who are buying at 0.0007, something like that, cents, like not even 1 cent, below 1 cent, that are still buying right now at 18 cents. So you know, understand. All right, so market cap. Listen, again, the way I look at it is the circulating supply, the real circulating supply at that moment in time. So we could guess, let's say in the next few months, the real circulating supply is around 7 billion and shrinking. So let's do the math. I mean, let's do maths. Maths don't lie, right? So 18 cents times 7 billion. How many zeros are in 7 billion? 9 zeros in a billion. So let's say 7 billion liquid hex times 18 cents. Current price right now, as of this recording. Today is, what is it? I don't know. It's like the 23rd. It's Monday, 23rd, I believe. What does that come out to? The market cap of HEX, if you only count the liquid supply of like 7 billion after the sacrifice phase, comes out to 1.26 billion. That's it. Market cap of Bitcoin is almost 1 trillion. Ethereum is 390 billion. HEX, you could kind of look at as only 1 billion. So 100x less than what's here. I'm not saying that this is wrong. I'm just saying if you calculate it differently. The problem with this is every day the market cap needs to be adjusted. So this would actually put HEX all the way down here. You know, EOS has 5 billion, and that did really poorly. It's like the worst performing crypto, I believe. What else? Shiba Inu is 4 billion. NEO is 4 billion. What happened to that? That used to be big back in the day. I mean, how far do we have to go down here? Shit. Smaller than Celsius, which does not give you as much yield as HEX, and they have admin keys. But the developer is very smart. I believe Richard and him talk. I mean, yeah, here we go. We're all the way down here. Now, some people might not like that I'm saying this, but listen, to me, that is music to my ears. It's opportunity. It is opportunity if you do the math from the liquid supply. Now, the problem with this is, of course, yes, every day it changes because every day a stake comes due. But if you really want to do it for today, market cap's only at 1.26 billion. What does that tell you? Well, if the market cap 10x's, you can't make money off of market cap. But let's say the market cap does 10x, meaning, you know, there's probably 100,000. At that point, there's 100,000 hexagons active, very active, staking. That means the market cap 10x's. I mean, the price would, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm assuming 100x or something. What's 100x times 20 cents? Let's say, to make the math easy in my head. $2. Is that right? 10x of 20 cents is $2. 100x would be $20. Okay, no, it's $20. Listen, I might be like rich, but doesn't mean I'm a genius. Okay, so it's just that when you're recording, when you do math, it's like it's a thing. Listen, you go make videos and start doing math in your head and see what happens. All right, so yeah, how exciting. Again, let me remind you guys, you can sacrifice, I guess, for Pulse. And I haven't even really talked about Pulse all that much. Man, so much to talk about. Anyways, listen, let's wrap up HEX. All right, let's just get this over with. It's super addicting. Well, I'm going to show you the interface. Let me show you the interface. Let's do that now. All right, let me show you how the staking interface works and everything. First of all, you just create a MetaMask account. Before you create an account, if it's your first time, go to security part of the hex.com page. You really need to learn security before you do anything, okay? It's the most crucial, important part. Try to always use a VPN and whatnot. And there's just different levels of security, but just get that down first. And then there's a whole Telegram chat group just for that. And the links are in the link section of hex.com. Everything you need is literally on this website. You just have to look. All right, so create a MetaMask account. Takes 2 minutes. It's not hard. Fund it one way or another. Then you could link your MetaMask account to the staking part, right? And these are just front-end websites. You could actually just interact with a blockchain on GitHub and this and that. Like, I don't want to get into that, but this just makes it easy, so you could do it easily, and you could see graphs, you could click buttons, this and that, right? So first it'll log in, and then it'll connect to your wallet. It has to connect to your wallet. Give that a second here. Okay, so here we have the T-share rate chart. This actually looks better than the Hex chart, if you could believe it, because it only goes up. So I staked a small amount. This was like one of my first stakes, but it was on an off wallet that I just, here and there, I would like just dump a couple $100 or whatever. Well, this is my first test stake probably. So if we look at the stakes, started April 2021, so it wasn't one of my first stakes. Oh, whatever. Started April 2021. Progress is 15% right here. It ends 1,334 in July 27th, 2023. Yesterday's APY was 17%. So the APY is much greater when you stake far out into the future, as I did here, right? July 27th. My principal balance was 40,000 hex. My T-share is only 3.3. And my interest accrued so far is 2.6 or 2,628 hex. Value's 7,900, and the current value is 43,000 hex. Okay, so if we look at the hex chart in April 2021, so a fraction of a penny, almost 20% of a penny. So I had 40,000 times, it was down here on this dip. It was actually 0.0125. 0.0125. All right, so it was actually towards the end of April 27th. The price was like around 0.0127. Let's do 1.0125. It's like $500 worth. So $500 is now worth 7,904. So let's say it ends staked today, okay, and you wanted to put in or get 7,000, let's say 8,000 worth of hex, right? Let's do an example, right? So let's say today that stake ended and I had 43,000 hex, and I wanted to restake it 3 years. So I wanted to restake pretty much $8,000, round up, add an extra $100. So 43,000, okay? And I wanted to put it at exactly 3 years from now. So the end of August 2024. What would that give me? That would give me 3.7 T-shares. What is my T-shares? It would actually give me a little bit more of T-shares. So my interest would actually be a little higher. Remember, one T-share is like 5.77 hex, and that's today. It's usually around 6 hex. Can it go down? Yeah, it can, but that's why you need to stake sooner rather than later. Now, I would be looking at interest of 26,000 hex. Now that does not include emergency end stakes, which are like kind of like bonuses, right? So in the end, I would get 3 years from now 69,000 hex. That's a lot, right? It's not quite double, but it's over 50% more in hex just for staking 3 more years out. If I wanted to restake 43,000 hex, right? Which is around $7,900, $8,000, right? All right, let's play a game. What would a 555 look like? Because the max you could do is 15 years. Now I could do a 15-year today. I could do a 15-year next month. I could do a 15-year 2 years from now. It's just that's like the furthest it allows you to just, you know, put it out there. So 555. And this is like, you know, a long shot lottery ticket. Everyone needs to have at least one, just in case. If this is still around 15 years, even if the price never went up, it probably made you rich because you're still getting that interest, right? So if the price never went up, it's just flatlined at 20 cents for 15 years, you would, well, let's do the math, okay? Maths. Well, you would get interest would be 86,000 hex, and your total would be 129,000 hex 15 years from now. That's significantly more. That's double on top of the last one. And then you get 6.9 T shares. Okay? Now, everything after 10 years, you get like a 200% on top of it. It becomes very deflationary, the T shares after 10 years. And so where could the price be 15 years from now? I guarantee you it's going to be higher than 20 cents. If everything's still running, which it should, this is going to run for the rest of your life, your kid's life, your grandkid's life. If it's still running, I guarantee you it's probably going to be at least $1. So then it would be 100. So an $8,000 investment today, 120 would be 129,000 15 years from now. That's if the price only goes to $1. I'm talking about like $10 towards the end of this year. What's $10 times 128,000? That's like ridiculous. Life-changing, unbelievable gains. All right. But let's be a little more realistic. So let's say you want to throw, first of all, you want to make a ladder, right? You might want to go out 1 year and then go out another 4 years and then go out another 8 years and then throw one at 13 years and throw a smaller one at like a tiny one out 15 years. Or maybe, and the further you put it out, maybe the smaller the stake. It's up to you. There's all kinds of strategies. I talk about this in the private group. I'm just giving you like an example. Let's say you wanted to throw $5,000. Let's make it simple. Okay, so $5,000. So you'd need to get 27,777 hex, right? All right. So if you staked $5,000 out, you'd get back 83,000 plus probably a few more thousand from emergency end stakes. But let's be realistic. Can you make when do you think you can make $1 million? So 365 days from now, right? That's 1 year. Let's do it at the end of the month or something, just to make it simple. Well, that 27,000 would turn into 33,000. Where do you think the price would be a year from now? If it's at $1, the gains aren't substantial, but they're decent, right? You made a lot. If it's $1, it's a lot more than $5,000, right? All right, let's say the price goes to $10. All right, now we're talking. So 33,000 hex. Let's round it up because of emergency end stakes. 34,000 hex times 10. Is that right? 300,000? Did it come out? That makes no sense. Let's calculate. All right, we took 25. Or no, we took We took $5,000 worth of hex to get. That's 27,777 hex equals $5,000 worth right now. We stake it out for 1 year, 373 days, not 65, 73. We get 1.8 T shares. So you sit on your ass for 1 year and you don't emergency end stake. You just wait. Where do you think the price will be 1 year from now? If it's only $1, we're at 18 cents right now. Like I said, I believe it'll be $10 by the end of this year. But let's say I'm wrong and it doesn't go to $10 by the end of this year. It goes to $10 by the end of by this time exactly next year. Okay, $10. What's $10 times 30? Let's round this up because of emergency end stakes. Let's round it up to 34,000. 34,000 hex times $10. That's $340,000 worth of hex. And you only invested $5,000 right now. Do you understand the power, the gains, the mad gains? Okay. Let's say it's only $3. Okay, whatever. $3. What's 34,000 times 3? It's $102,000. So you invested $5,000, now it's $102,000. Not bad, not too shabby. But you want to be a millionaire, right? Well, where would the price have to be for you to be a millionaire? It'd have to be somewhere around $27 or $30. Let's do 27,000. Let's do $27. So 34,000 hex times 27. That only gives you 918,000. Okay, 33 probably, something like that, right? Dollars per hex for you to invest $5,000 today and you become a millionaire. Okay, let's say it takes 3 years for it to hit like $30, right? So you have 34. Okay, let's do the math. Let's do 2024, right? Again, that'd be 3 years from now. All right, so now your $5,000 worth of hex that you buy right now, which is only 27,777 hex, if you put it out to August 2024, you will get 44,000 hex in 600. Emergency end stakes, it'll probably be like 46,000 hex. Or probably more. It could have, you never know. It could be like, because a lot of people will be emergency end staking. I mean, it could easily probably be 50,000 hex. And you only get 2.4 T-shares, by the way. So, okay, let's round it up to 50,000, because I'm doing maths, and I need all the help I can get. So, 50,000 hex times, let's say it only goes to $10 in 3 years. Well, now we're looking at something here, right? 500,000, that's half a mil. Say it goes to $30. There we go. Now we're looking at 1.5 mil. And you waited 3 years and threw in $5,000. And I'm just doing, you know, moon math here practically. But am I don't know. We'll see. $30 3 years from now? I would bet money on that. But again, we're pre-viral. If people weren't so dumb and they just saw this video and understood how this all works, right? Now, of course, the price action slows down. The higher the price is, it slows down. So once we get, you know, we might get to $1 quickly. Then another rally. That'll be a little bit slower to like $3, $5. And then another rally to $10. Once we're at 10, we're probably going to pull back. I mean, we're going to pull back every time. Once we hit these numbers. Like, I guarantee you we'll pull back from $1. We'll probably pull back from $3. We'll pull back from 5. We'll pull back from 7. We'll pull back from 10, probably. It could be an 80% drop, whatever. But then, you know, the price recovers, rebounds, and then makes another all-time high. That's what, these are all fractals, all bull flags, but getting bigger and bigger. It's just that we're pre-viral, and when we hit virality, we don't know what could happen. But I do think we're going to see crazy stuff, okay? Especially with PulseChain. There's a lot of capital is going to be flowing around, and everyone who is a Pulse whale is also like a Hex whale, and a lot of capital is going to be moving around, and it could really make prices fly like crazy. All right. Also, there's so many reasons why, yeah, we're looking at mad gains. So what else? I mean, it's super addicting. You just saw how it all worked. That is super addicting. It's really easy to stake, and it's fun watching how much hex you could get. And it's addicting. It's like a video game. And Richard used to be addicted to video games. And he used to be the best for, I don't know, World of Warcraft, one of the big ones. You know, strategy. It's all strategy. And that probably developed his mind, made him the best for game theory. And he's also an entrepreneur, businessman, trades, knows capital markets, knows all this, right? I'm not trying to worship him or anything. I'm just saying it is what it is. The guy's brilliant, like him or not. Best community, all very, very, very smart OG people. All the YouTubers, hexstreamers.com, go there as well. They're all intelligent. You go to Discourse Syndicate, they're all on there. We have the best memes, the most fun. We have the most virality potential. Like I said, if you take the market cap and do the math based on liquid supply, not total supply, because like 97% is just completely locked up, then we're only like at around 1 billion. I mean, there's so much room. Bitcoin's at 1 trillion. So what is that? That gives you an idea of how much room we have to run just to catch up to the, Bitcoin. And then at that point, I mean, it's just going to blow people's minds. International community, and it's growing globally, right? And it's the most growing. Like, just in the past 4 months, the community has, I don't know if it's doubled, but it's definitely, at least the HEX community. I mean, it's doubled because of PulseChain. It's definitely doubled. PulseChain's chat room has significantly more than HEX. But once those Pulse people realize what HEX is, and PulseChain's going to bring in more people, the networking effect and the virality takes off, right? Once you stake HEX, you're a Hexagon for life, or at least 15 years. So once you do your first stake, maybe it's only for 1 year, you're going to come back and do a few more. And then then the FOMO pants really tighten up as you see the interest accruing and your balance and your wealth just growing daily, every day. It's addicting. So you're going to come back and you're going to make that 15-year stake. And it doesn't have to be a lot, maybe just a tiny amount, like 3,300 HEX. That assures you'll have 10,000 15 years from now, and who knows where the price will be. It'll be like $1,000, who knows. So there you go. What else? This buys you freedom. And what is freedom? Don't have to work for someone else, corporation that forces you to do who knows what, if you know what I mean. You make money while you sleep. You don't have to have any debt. You can sleep at night, not lose your hair. Anxiety is very unhealthy, You outpace inflation. That's a really big deal, because inflation is only going to get worse with time. And as inflation gets worse with time, people are going to be looking for something like this, because there's nowhere else to run besides metals, I guess. Your poverty mindset will go away. This gives you freedom, gives you time to start a business, it gives you capital, right? Time and capital. So you'll have money, right? You'll have time. What could you do with that? I don't know, build another business or something. You're going to do something with your time. Do hobbies or whatever. Hobbies end up being businesses eventually if you just, push yourself a little harder. So if you love doing something and you actually have the money so you could just do what you love, you could always turn it into a business. And you could have multiple residual income streams coming in, not just HEX, but something else, right? Time is money, and money is time, and HEX works for you 24/7. When you sleep, you're making money. And the feeling of that is the security it gives you, and the fact that you have something to look forward to. It cures depression even. And a lot of people are getting real sad these days. So there's only really 2 things you need to know. 1, HEX works for you 24/7. 2, time is the only thing that runs out and is the most valuable thing. And T-shares are the only crypto you can't hold forever. Trayvon James. I saw his tweet. I think that's funny, because Trayvon used to be in Bitcoin. So that's hilarious. Oh, and Richard's even trying to literally buy you more time beyond the average life expectancy, right? He raised $27 million for Sens, who research life longevity, which also cures other things and ailments, right? All right, I haven't really talked about PulseChain all that much. I'm just going to leave that for another video. There's just a lot. But listen, there's so much going on. Richard's like gonna. He even said on stream, he's like, I guess I'm gonna have to go back to. He used to hire like 100 and some people, 120 or 150, something like that. And he's like, well, it looks like I'm gonna have to go and do that again because there's so much improvement that could be done in the entire crypto ecosystem, which is he's gonna just build it all out again and just make it better. He's talking about MetaMask, Uniswap, CoinMarketCap. Although we do have Nomics, and Nomics is good. Better Etherscan. Come on, guys. I mean, what crypto was about was removing all counterparty risk, middlemen. It's all about you keeping your own keys. You are in control. It's all about privacy, and that's what all this guy's about. And this is how you don't lose your money and get rug pulled and scammed. It's that simple, all right? For you noobs, leave in the comment section what you guys want me to talk about when it comes to Hex and crypto. My next video will be stock market, and then the video after that, I'll talk more about PulseChain. All right, guys, smash some likes. Please share my videos. It's the only way I'm going to keep making these. And go to my website, join the private group where we're scheming and theorizing and trying to maximize all opportunities, and there will be endless opportunities while not putting on too much risk and losing your shirt and pants, right? At the end of the day, I'm a hex maximalist, and I'm just going to be honest, but not a toxic hex maximalist. PulseChain should be friendly and open for everyone. We're here to save everyone, all right? Save you from the fees.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.